Hey everybody, Spaz here. It's time for another episode of But Is It Power Pop? Start off with Mr. Nick Lowe, Labor of Lust. But is it Power Pop? Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it is. Good old Mr. Nick Lowe. That's what was on the inner sleeve, and now it's in the little gatefold. The great news is we already know that Labor of Lust and Jesus of Cool are out. Coming this year through Yep Rock are the next two that are coming out on CD are Nick the Knife and the Abominable Show. Yep, that one. And then later on, the others will be coming. So we got more Nick Lowe reissues coming, as well as a Low Straitjackets tribute to Nick Lowe. But this isn't an advertisement. This is, but is it Power Pop? And Nick Lowe, definitely Power Pop. Next up, we have Mr. Phil Seymour. But is it Power Pop? Yeah, I'd say so, especially because the hype sticker says it is. Actually, Phil Seymour, formerly of the Dwight Twilley Band, he was the drummer there, stepped out in front for a couple solo albums. This was the first. And the great thing about this is, even if it was only two songs, and those songs were Precious to Me and Baby It's You, just speechless. I mean, just great songs. Absolutely great songs. Here's another one. New Hearts. But is it Power Pop? Well, it's pretty darn close. It's probably closer to punk pop. New Hearts actually only put out, no relation to Bob. This is actually early incarnation of a band that became Secret Affair, the mod band. And this was a compilation. They actually only put out 2 singles, but this has singles, demos, stuff that was probably going to be on their first album. It's a great little collection, and it's very catchy, very poppy. Some of it could be actually considered power pop, but it's something to look out for. I believe it might be out of print. Came out on Cherry Red, but it's called A Secret Affair, the CBS Sessions, 1977 and 78, and we know that a year later they were Secret Affair. So New Hearts is the name of the band. Coming up next, I don't know if this is really power pop, but let's continue with the new theme. New music. No, not exactly power pop. In fact, new music is more of synth pop. But are they? Actually, new music, this is their first 2 albums, by the way. They had an album in the U.S. called Sanctuary, which was kind of like a best of these 2 albums. But this is the first 2 albums, the expanded editions. It's a 2 CD set. And they are, I'd say they're the missing link between power pop and synth pop. I mean, there's a lot of guitar, just great hooks. This is definitely every one of my friends who loves power pop. They're not, into the Flock of Seagulls or Human League or anything like that. They're definitely into new music. So track that down, maybe do some searches on YouTube. And there you go. Coming up next, but is it power pop? Cheap Trick. Duh. Don't even have to answer that. Next up, we've got the Bongos. Oh boy, do I love the Bongos. Richard Barone is just a pop maestro. But it's not really power pop. It's not punk. It's not post-punk. It's not alt-rock. If you're going to call this like new wave or post-punk, Richard Barone was the Paul McCartney of post-punk because he's got just a knack for writing catchy songs, even if some of them have a punk edge. But there's enough on this album to make it really worth your while. So like maybe if you go on YouTube or one of those evil streaming places, you can maybe stream the Bulrushes and Zebra Club and Hunting. But this is really great. And this is the version on Gem. It has a reissue, and it has it's a reissue and has like some live recordings and bonus tracks. And that's always fun. This is a toughie, real toughie. Split Ends. This is a 2 CD collection. So this has the early stuff and the later stuff. They're definitely melodic. Neil Finn, who later formed Crowded House, and Tim Finn, who's my second favorite vocalist of all time behind Elvis Presley. They actually, I mean, just some amazing pop in their catalog. This will give you a better idea of what they sound like throughout their entire career, like with Phil Judd and going all the way back to '75. But if you want to hear the Neil Finn before Crowded House, you're definitely going to want to get at least maybe the True Colors album or the Wayada or Time and Tide, which is probably one of my favorites. But my favorite Spaz album, actually, I don't have it in my hands right now, but that's Frenzy. And that's probably the closest you're going to get to anything Crowded Housey type stuff. It's very acoustic, very relaxed. It's not overproduced or melodramatic like some Spaz stuff can be. But finally, last one in the stack. Oh my gosh. 9 Below Zero. But is it power pop? 9 Below Zero, they sure do look it, don't they? Look at that, snappy suits and ties. At least they could probably be a mod band, right? I mean, look, hello. Oh, man. But actually, they are not. They are not power pop. They are a British rhythm and blues band that sort of takes off from where, like, Dr. Feelgood, that kind of stuff. Great stuff. This third album, this is their third album. They had some great hooks on this, but it's still rhythm and blues based. But one thing I want to point out to most of you, Dennis Greaves, right here, this gentleman, he's the lead singer and the songwriter. He went off and formed a band called The Truth after 9 Below Zero originally broke up. And The Truth, everybody knows, is a great mod influence band, great songs. Some people call them the Jam Council because they fall somewhere between the sound of the Jam and the sound of the Style Council. But Playground, an absolutely great record. And then this on Cherry Red that came out about a year and a half, 2 years ago. This is a collection of like all their album or all their singles that came out before Playground. And this is even poppier. So on disc one, you're going to get like Step in the Right Direction, Beat Generation, Second Time Lucky, a lot of really great pop stuff. So, but that's it for this episode of But Is It Power Pop? Smell you later.